and welcome to All Talk, the Geekbox Forums community podcast. This is episode 17 for the week of May 28th, 2012. This week we talk about cartoons from our youth, upcoming movies, this week's Moviebox pick Renaissance, and give a quick public service announcement about Diablo 3. Hello and welcome to All Talk, the Geekbox Forums community podcast. I am Dakazu, and this is episode 17. Who is with me this week?
Mr. X.
RobotGoggle.
Totoro.
And IRL Troll.
Welcome back, Troll.
Yes.
Thank you. I know, it's been since, I think, episode 3, give or take. I finally have a work schedule for this week where I can come in and say hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, you were on one of the very beginning things.
Yes, I was. I think I talked about our what movies we were looking forward to in the summer and for our Lilyhammer discussion. I think that was it.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Wow, we've been podcasting for a while now.
We have.
Just a few months.
Yeah, it's been a while, but I am back with a vengeance of some variety.
So we
And
didn't
your
scare
movie
you off
box
for good.
pick.
No. Oh, yes, I do have a movie box pick, and you have not scared me. I am fearless.
Yeah, we'll talk about your movie box pick at the very end. What are we going to start out with?
Toonami? You want to start with that?
Oh, shit, that's coming back? You guys weren't kidding?
No, we were not kidding about Toonami coming back.
Holy shit.
Remember
wow.
Toonami?
Yes, I do remember Toonami. That was when my formative childhood years. I was 10 when that came out.
I have no idea what Toonami is.
Well, as someone from the 90s, I can inform you quite frankly about what Toonami is, as someone who grew up with the meta channel called Toonami on Cartoon Network.
Go ahead.
Specifically, it was Adult Swim, though, wasn't it?
No, it was
actually,
not.
Toonami originally wasn't Adult Swim, but that's what they're turning into now because there were actually multiple forms of Toonami over the course of the years, both in terms of the actual host, Tom, who was a CG robot, and the actual format of the show.
Oh, and on top of that, they kind of did a thing that was close to Adult Swim at about 2 or 3 years in, where they did the Toonami Midnight Run, where they'd actually show uncut episodes of various animes that they showed.
Like Bleach and Naruto, I think they're showing.
And at the time, the big one they had was Gundam Wing and Big O is what they showed uncut at the time.
So what was the original lineup of Toonami?
Oh boy, it was Gundam Wing, Thundercats, Dragon Ball Z. There were a few. Voltron. Shit, they had Voltron in there.
When did they add Rurouni Kenshin?
That was oh boy, that was 3 or 4 years in after they started Toonami. Rurouni Kenshin was near before the decline of Toonami, more or less.
So wait, this is all Animu?
Yeah,
no, not all Animu, but Toonami was a lot of people's first exposure to anime.
Exactly, it was mine. Gundam Wing. Well, I guess technically Voltron. Voltron was the first anime I saw, and then Gundam Wing is what got me into anime.
Yeah, that's also where I got into it. That's where I saw Voltron, Gundam Wing, Sailor Moon, just kind of everything.
Sailor Moon is pretty great.
Originally, the Toonami, it started in March 17th, 1997, and ran until September 20th of 2008, and it's being revived tonight.
I was in high school.
Oh fuck, that's tonight.
It seems like you have something in front of you that says that, or otherwise you're a Toonami superfan.
Or are you a robot? Are you a robot girl?
I
am a RobotGoggle.
1997, I was in 2nd grade.
Oh,
wow.
Jesus Christ.
Oh man, I feel so old.
You're a baby.
As you should.
Babies.
I was 4 years old in 1997.
Oh fuck, no, I feel
Holy
old.
cow!
I win.
Jesus.
Okay, I'm just gonna go feel old for the rest of the podcast. I'll see you guys later.
Was
right.
Reboot on the original lineup of Toonami?
Not the original line, but it was probably about a year.
What is that in your background?
Oh shit, that's my phone. Give me a moment.
Is that your ringtone?
Yes, it is.
That's the best ringtone.
What
It sounded like a really girly pop song.
Well, it turns out Troll is actually an 8-year-old girl.
It all makes sense.
So anyway, do you remember Bobby Goggles if Reboot was on the original lineup?
What was Reboot again? Refresh my memory.
What? What was Reboot? Reboot was the computer graphics animated show about the users and Bob, the defender of the. No.
Wait, are you talking about the actual CG, Tom?
Yes.
I thought he was
No,
Tom.
no. There was a show on Toonami called Reboot.
Oh, was it about that universe?
No. Oh my gosh. You don't know
no.
Reboot.
What's going on?
No.
Oh, Reboot. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Thank
I'm
you.
back.
I need someone who knows what Reboot is, Troll.
Reboot took place inside of a computer, and all the people that it followed were the sprites in the computer, the AIs, if you will. And it kind of followed them, trying to prevent player users from winning the game. Otherwise, part of their world would get destroyed.
It was like Toonami's one of its original programmings.
Actually, it wasn't original. It started on TBS used to do a morning cartoon block, and it started on that. Toonami kind of took it, and
it was on ABC.
ABC, yes, not TBS. ABC. There we go.
Well, it was awesome.
It was little dated though.
I used to watch The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest.
That was
wow.
That was
I
think the first year. The Real Adventures was first year at Toonami, and then of course Johnny Quest goes back ages.
Yeah.
I always sat down with my dad and watched Johnny Quest and stuff like that.
So Real Adventures of Johnny Quest was Toonami?
Yeah.
So I did watch something on Toonami.
Yes, you did.
Yay.
I contributed.
You know who did it?
Yes, you were part
Totoro.
of this. You're a part of this discussion, X. Good job.
Yay.
Totoro hates cartoons.
It's not. No, I do not hate cartoons.
Why do you hate cartoons, Totoro?
What do you have against Inspector Gadget?
Inspector
Show us on the
Gadget.
doll where Inspector Gadget touched you.
I actually, speaking of Inspector Gadget and dolls, I remember growing up, when I was probably about 4 or 5, I remember having a Inspector Gadget kind of. It was too big to be an action figure, so I guess it was a doll. But I distinctly remember that being one of the coolest things I ever had as a kid.
So you played with dolls?
Just that one. Fuck off.
Once
X.
again, no one is going to hear that awkward 10-second silence that was right there.
It's all good. Oh, we're just laughing at Tumble calling me.
That was Tumble?
Yep,
You
that
mean
was that's Tumble's ringtone.
Why is he
Special
funny?
guest Tumble?
He's on the podcast every week.
He's a special guest.
Well, apparently he's doing the podcast from Branson right now.
Boo.
He's multitasking.
Yep, indeed. Let's see. So,
I have
Inspector
no
Gadget,
idea
what
what
was the name of the dog?
Brain.
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 You would know
Brain.
that if you listen to Good Job Brain, because they had a trivia question about that. It was
I'm a couple weeks behind.
If you take the name of a dog from an popular 80s animated TV show and swap 2 of the letters, you get the name of the dog from a popular 90s animated show. And it was Brain, and you swap the letters and it's Brian, from Family Guy. So, good job, Brain.
Yeah.
Every Monday on the Geekabox Network.
The Geekabox?
Geekabox.
The Geekabox.
It's
The
like the
Geekabox.
Italian version of Geekbox. They serve
Which is the
pizza.
Geek Box.
What did they set the lineup with Toonami coming back?
I have the lineup actually right here in front of me.
Excellent.
It comes back May 27th or May 26th, starting at midnight. At midnight, there's Bleach. 12:30, Dead Man Wonderland. At 1 a.m., Casher and Sins. 1:30 a.m.,
Cool.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. 2 a.m., Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex Second Gig. And at 2:30 a.m., Cowboy Bebop.
That's a lot of anime.
Yeah, they actually said they were themselves disappointed that they couldn't get any new stuff on there, because with the exception of Casher and Sins and Dead Man Wonderland, everything else has been on that network before. But they are looking at acquiring stuff like Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt, Fairy Tale, Inuyasha
What?
Final Act.
Well, let's go
They're
back to
gonna
that
get
first thing.
panty. They're gonna get panty and stocking.
No, this is stuff they've said they've been looking at. It doesn't.
Do
Is,
you
uh,
know anything about that show?
Is
I
that
know-
like Tiger and Bunny, but with females?
No,
No.
it's ridiculous, and it's really, really racy,
The guy-
super
I
racy.
think you should repeat the name of that again.
Okay, let me list off everything slowly. So the
No,
guy
yeah,
in
just the first one.
panty and stocking with garter belt.
All right.
They are listen. They're two angels from heaven
I'll
that
say.
are that. One of them is like a slut. Like that's what she calls herself, and like she sleeps with men like all over the place. This is a cartoon, mind you,
Oh.
and it kind of like the art
Lame.
style kind of looks like
Well, it's
Dexter's
in-
Laboratory.
So it's not an anime?
What?
Yeah, the other
It's
girl
styled
is
like
a goth.
Dexter's Lab?
Yeah, and the other girl is like a goth Lolita maid, and she likes sweets. And they're supposed to solve problems, so they just kind of make a mess of things.
Well, it's probably a good thing that they're going to be putting it on in this block that starts, after midnight. You can get away with a lot more.
Yeah. Well, going
Actually, I
back to
think
what
at
they're
a certain
looking
point.
at, the guy in charge of it, he said the thing that is a personal favorite of his and he'd love to see back on Cartoon Network is actually a uncut One Piece. So, like, One Piece with
What?
better
Uh-huh.
voices.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, you don't know
Uh,
what One Piece is?
No?
One Piece is a super popular. It's probably the most popular manga in Japan. I wouldn't be incorrect in saying that. Sells like a
Really?
crap ton of
It's that-
volumes.
It's still that
Uh,
huge?
You would not
It's
be
huge.
incorrect. It is the most popular, highest-selling manga, and I think also one of the highest rated, if not the highest rated
The
anime.
anime's been running for 10 years at least, if not longer.
And
and,
the manga has been running for a bit, like maybe 14 years, 13 years, something
Yeah,
like that.
it's good in there. Though there are longer running publications of manga. Anyway, it's super popular. It was known because was it on the WB's morning network?
It was not on the WB's morning network. It was originally on the Fox Saturday morning lineup, which at one
Fox
point was
Kids.
Fox Kids.
Fox for Kids, Fox Box, whatever they changed their name to.
Yeah,
Fox
and
Kids.
they censored the crap out of it.
All the blood in the cartoon was changed to sweat and or water. And there was one character, Sanji, who smokes a cigarette, but they changed it to a lollipop, which was kind of funny in a few episodes because they forgot to remove the smoke lines, so you'd sometimes see smoke coming from his lollipop.
I thinking back on all the episodes that I did watch. That's funny.
So, and it was also pretty critically panned by people who enjoy anime for the fact that it was very heavily censored. They changed a lot. They changed the tone. They
made it for kids, right?
Yeah, they had made it for kids, or no, at least by our cultural standards.
Right.
So and one of the other things that was pretty critically panned on was most people didn't really like a lot of the voices of the characters, and so it ended up not doing very well, and they got rid of it. And it's still officially subtitled by the company that owns the American rights to it, Funimation. So you could, for free and legally, go to their website and still watch subtitled episodes of it, but it's not being given American voiceover or English voiceovers right now.
I think it's available on Hulu Plus. I'm not sure though. But
You
There's
might
a
be right.
surprising amount of anime on Hulu Plus.
yeah, there is. But anyway, let's talk about some older cartoons because you were talking about Inspector Gadget. And that just reminded me of other stuff I used to watch as a kid. Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That was pretty
I
great.
actually liked the old school one where the main thing I remember was Rob Paulson was not Leonardo, Raphael, and that's the only voice actor I remember from that.
I don't remember any of the voice actors.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you who any of them were.
I think Corey Feldman was the voice of Donatello in the movies.
Yes, well, in the first movie at least.
I think the oldest cartoon I might have seen regularly on TV was Gigantor.
What?
Gigantor, it's like a very old anime.
But
Yeah.
what? I have no idea what you're even talking about.
It was,
Gigantor.
Is that like
He's
a big
bigger than
Scooby Doo?
big. And stronger than strong.
It was the first a mecha anime, more or less.
It was kind of more along the lines of Astro Boy than it was something like Gundam Wing.
That's like super old.
Yeah, I don't remember when, but I was born in '93, so most of the older stuff that I watched was like reruns or basically was being rerun on TV. So like Flintstones, Jetsons.
Oh yeah, if you had Cartoon Network, you saw a lot of the old shows.
Yeah, like Cartoon Network during the daytime was Rerun Central.
I didn't get Cartoon Network until I was in high school.
I don't think I got Cartoon Network until I was like pretty much went off to college.
I don't think Cartoon Network existed until like 1995, though, so that would make sense for you all.
I remember in my youth watching a lot of Hanna-Barbera stuff, you know, Scooby-Doo.
Because they just put out like 15,000 things, so just statistically, you're going to watch a Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
What was the one with the two dogs?
Two Stupid Dogs?
Yes.
I remember that show.
What?
Then there was a Cow and Chicken. There was the Scooby-Doo show where they had guest stars, like they had Scooby-Doo and the Harlem Globetrotters, and Scooby-Doo and Three Stooges.
The thing is, Two Stupid Dogs is like, compared to everything else you just listed, very recent.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I'm looking at like a picture of Two Stupid Dogs. I remember this, but this is like way later when I usually stopped watching cartoons and stuff.
And do you know who voiced the big dog?
Who?
Brad Garrett.
Everybody
Really no
loves Raymond.
Well, Two Stupid
Exactly.
Dogs debuted when I was 11 years old.
See, I remember watching like a lot of G.I. Joe and the Transformers back in the early to mid 80s.
I remember watching it. It's just I remember nothing about them because I was too young. Like the only thing I remember watching Batman and X-Men.
Oddly enough,
That was
my
like
first
more towards the 90s.
my
Yes.
first introduction to Transformers in general was Beast Wars. I never
Yeah,
saw
same
any of
here.
that old stuff at all.
What
A lot
the
of
hell
people
is
like Beast Wars.
I liked Beast Wars back when it was on.
Beast Wars was where the Transformers were animals, right?
Exactly.
So
And
like
it was
Dinobots.
3D. Yeah, and it was 3D animated. It wasn't 2D animated.
Which looks terrible now, but
Yeah.
back then
Yeah.
that was the shit.
You're breaking my heart here.
Yeah.
That
It was pretty great back then. I also remember during more of my, I guess I was starting to get there. I remember Invader Zim. There was Doug, Rocco's Modern Life.
Yeah,
The
those were
Nickelodeon
good.
cartoons. Yeah.
Getting more into the Nickelodeon
Rugrats.
cartoons.
Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy. Oh man. Oh, Ren and Stimpy.
Have you guys
Oh,
ever
Ren
seen
and
the
Stimpy.
uncensored versions of Ren and Stimpy? They're great.
I don't
think
think
so.
I've ever seen them, but I would kill.
I think
Didn't
a
they-
Spike TV showed a bunch of those.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
remember that because I remember when around that time I was taking tennis lessons and they had Spike TV on the TV in the lounge, and I would always just chill in there and watch uncensored Ren and Stimpy.
You took tennis lessons?
Got a
for
problem
a short
with it?
while.
I'm a tennis instructor.
No.
Is that a problem,
Hey,
Totoro?
no,
Is
I'm
it?
just asking. I'm just
Okay.
asking
Okay, never mind. Sorry.
because that's
Oh,
cool.
so
I
you're-
didn't.
So you're one of those tennis players.
Yeah, it's not like I said
am.
it like
Is-
that.
Do we have to take this out back, X?
I think we might.
It's on, buddy.
You and your racket.
But going back to Ren and Stimpy, I just-
Uncensored Ren and Stimpy. Just wow. It's. I mean, yeah. I really don't have words to describe it.
well, I remember like it seems like I want to say like the last episode I watched, like when it initially aired, and I don't know if this was the last episode that like ever or like they put out at the time, but was Space Madness. But it seemed like after that it was just they didn't come back with new stuff anymore.
Well, didn't they bring it back not too long ago?
But
I don't know
if
it's
it's still-
different.
yeah.
But I think it's different voice actors.
Well, like the main character from Futurama, didn't he end up doing the voice on Ren and Stimpy, like of both Ren and Stimpy?
Billy West?
Yeah,
He was the voice of Stimpy on
I think
the
he
original
did-
run.
I think he ended up doing the voice of both though at some point.
Yes, he did.
That's what I thought. He's pretty
But
good.
also, did you know that Ren is gay?
I did not.
I do now.
On uncensored episodes, it was revealed.
Was he gay for Mole Man?
I'm not sure. Probably not
Hey.
from Mole Man.
Nobody's gay for Mole Man.
I was really worried nobody was going to take that line. Thank you, Totoro.
You're welcome. Yeah, I'm actually looking at it here, and Space Madness was not one. Was like actually one of the first episodes. It was like the 5th episode. So maybe I'm thinking of something else.
You know, this cartoon I used to watch 20 years ago. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. It's called The Simpsons.
The Simpsons. What the fuck is The Simpsons?
It's like this obscure cartoon about this family.
You mean like the
You're losing
Flintstones? Or like the Honeymooners? Or something like that?
Kind of like that. But one of the characters says, "Don't have a cow, man."
Okay, that's not gonna catch.
I actually had a teacher in middle school who would wear like Bart Simpson T-shirts because you remember like at the beginning of the run, it was like all about Bart, but then it kind of shifted over to being all about Homer.
Well,
But
it was
originally it was like all about Bart, or that was
sort
it
of.
was
It was
well,
marketed that way.
yeah, exactly.
I would still say it was mostly about Homer, but it was marketed towards Bart.
But I had this geography teacher in middle school who like would wear T-shirts with Bart Simpson on them and like a sport jacket over it, and it was like he was being cool, and he actually was a pretty cool guy. But
My mom used to try to stop me from watching Simpsons.
my parents actually like that was one of the few shows that we actually all sat down and watched.
Because at the time, The Simpsons was like controversial or something, like in the news, I remember.
Yeah. Well, the president at the time, George H.W. Bush, said something to the effect of, families should act more like the Waltons and less like the Simpsons, which is funny because, and I think they mention it in some of the like more recent like anniversary specials and stuff. But since then, they've really like family leaders like actually point towards the Simpsons as being like this unifying force and showing how a family can stay together and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
and they're actually they're actually a good example that way.
Yeah, I actually have the first 8 seasons of The Simpsons on DVD.
Yeah, I think I've got the first 5 or so.
What season did the monorail episode happen?
Oh geez, I don't remember.
That was in like the first 8. I remember. Yeah, that had to have been in the first 8. That's like classic. Whenever there's a meme or a joke that's pretty wide,
I would say the monorail episode is the best episode.
it's a pretty good episode.
I'm actually pretty fond of Homer the Heretic.
Which one is that? Is that the one where they kill snakes?
No. Oh, the snake hunt one. That one's pretty good. No, Homer the Heretic is the one where Homer decides that he doesn't want to go to church, and so instead of the Marge and the kids go off to church, and he does the risky business thing, and he makes where he's singing to old time rock and roll, but then he also makes the caramel waffles and like goes down to the basement, finds these old Playboys, and is like sitting there on the couch reading these old Play Dude. But he winds up on the couch like smoking cigars, reading Play Dude, and then he catches the house on fire.
I was always a big fan of the Treehouse of Horror episodes.
Those are. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of Simpsons episodes recently, but I always seem to tune in for the Treehouse of Horror ones.
Oh, there was a movie based on just one of the little sections of one of the Treehouse of Horror episodes.
What was that?
Butterfly Effect. Only it wasn't about a time traveling toaster.
Oh yeah.
One of my favorite.
You go back in time and change one little thing, and it has big repercussions in the present.
Sure.
Simpsons.
Another good episode was the one where it focuses on an actress who plays Xena, the warrior princess or whatever.
Lucy Lawless.
Lucy Lawless. That was a great episode.
I know they always used to talk about MacGyver, and at one point, the actor that does the voice of Homer was on an episode of Stargate SG-1, which
Dan Castellaneta.
And that Stargate has MacGyver on it. And then after that, MacGyver was on The Simpsons.
Awesome.
Yeah, Dan Castellaneta is really funny. He's probably of all the voice actors on The Simpsons, he's probably my favorite one because he just like each of the voice actors. Of all of them, I think that he has the most varied like repertoire. It's like I listen to Harry Shearer no matter which one he does, and I can still hear Harry Shearer in there.
What about Hank Azaria?
Hank Azaria is pretty fucking good though too.
He's pretty good.
Do you know who's not good? The person who plays
Blum.
Lisa.
Because all she does is Lisa.
Well, Steve Blum,
That's all.
Obviously.
I've heard you rail about Steve Blum. I don't know how many times.
Of course,
yeah.
I will not go into it again. Fucker.
Well, Yardley Smith only does Lisa. And
listen, if we're gonna talk about voice actors that we're going to say that we hate, I really dislike Vic Mignogna.
I have no idea who that is.
Okay, but and Nancy Cartwright's pretty good too. because she also does I think she does like a number of the bullies and a number of the kids as well.
Bart?
She does Bart, yeah.
Itchy and Scratchy?
Does she do both of those as well? I thought,
Maybe.
I don't know.
I could be wrong.
No, who is this person Bobby Goggles hates?
Well, okay, basically he's the voice actor. He's most famous for voice acting Edward from Full Metal Alchemist, and he does like a bunch of other stuff, but I've heard a ton of stories from people I know, and at every convention he goes to, he's the world's biggest egomaniac, and he's just. It's not even just like that he does the same voice for every single character he ever does, and it's whiny as hell, but it's also because he's a huge egomaniac at conventions. Like, he's a diehard Christian, and he'll be passing out pamphlets like, turn to the power of Christ or you'll burn, and crazy, very much extremist Christian stuff like that. He's frequently seen being really, really creepy with his often underage fans, and just all in all, being the creepiest, douchiest guy around.
Okay. Well,
Nolan North is cool.
I mean, I don't know much about this guy, and I don't really recognize a lot of his work. I'm checking right now.
We may have to cut the part for legal reasons.
Alright.
Wow, you blew out my ears.
Sorry.
Please don't do that. Yeah, I mean, like, those types of stories, like, hating, like, I understand, like, not liking, you know, performers or actors because, you know, you hear they're, like, douches in, like, real life, but...
That's why I don't want to meet people, like, that I admire their artistic work, because I don't want to find out that they're assholes.
Yeah, it's hard to separate that.
Yeah, kind of the thing with that too is like, and I'd like to talk about some of those people, just like we're in a public area, and I know some of them are litigious. So
okay.
Well, there's
true.
nothing they can. There's nothing. I mean, if you're just saying
Free speech.
if you say, you know, this is, you know, I met this person, this was my experience with the person, you know,
and he was a douche.
So long, and I didn't like the fact that, you know, he did X, Y, and Z, and I thought that he was a dick about it. You know, I don't care. You know,
maybe we're not big enough yet. Who knows?
Okay, yeah.
He could be one of our 3 listeners.
Hey, we're up to 4 now.
All right. God damn, we
Oh,
almost
yeah,
have as
another
many listeners as hosts.
One day.
Yeah,
One day.
okay. Which one of you assholes is not listening to the show?
Me.
Okay, so what else? What else is out there? I mean,
You know, I was thinking about cartoons that I remember. I remember a lot, like, Looney Tunes from my youth, but, you know, those are cartoons that were before we were born.
yeah,
Looney
like
Tunes
from the
are
60s.
great.
Yeah, they're great.
They're legitimately
Tom
funny.
I was thinking about Tom and Jerry as well.
They're great.
Wow, Tom and Jerry actually goes back to like some of those go back to like the 40s and 50s, I think.
Well, then there was a new one though in like the early 90s.
There was
Well,
also
didn't they just bring it back?
Maybe.
No,
There was also Tom and Jerry Kids.
I think that was the '90s one.
There was also Muppet Babies.
I was
Yeah.
actually getting ready to bring that up. Muppet Babies was so great. I remember that. I love that show. That was
Good show.
probably one Muppet Babies.
That was an incredibly clever show.
Well, and it was like because you had so many like cultural references, and I kind of want to go back and watch some of those because I mean I remember, you know, you had references to like Star Wars, you know, in certain
I
episodes.
remember they did an E.T. one.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, when it gets so like pop culture referential like that, it just makes it even more and, you know, just enjoyable.
You know, I can't believe we haven't really talked about Batman the Animated Series yet.
Well, I was gonna wait because I wanted to talk about the Disney Afternoon first.
Okay, go for it.
Are
You
talking
guys
about,
remember
like,
the Disney Afternoon?
like
Like when it
Gummy
started?
Bears?
Yeah, starting with the Gummy Bears and then Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers.
Rescue Rangers.
Okay, I remember that.
Darkwing Duck.
No, you're skipping ahead.
Oh.
After Rescue Rangers, it was Tailspin, was it?
I think Tailspin was after, like, I don't remember.
There was Tailspin.
DuckTales.
Yeah, there's DuckTales, and then there was Tailspin, and then there was
Goof Troop at one point.
No, Goof Troop was after Darkwing Duck. I think Darkwing Duck was next.
Are we talking chronologically or like in the order of that they appeared in the afternoon?
Well, the order switched. I was talking about chronologically because As they retired shows, they would move on to the next show. I remember Goof Troop. I forget the one after that.
Yeah, I remember Goof Troop. I think there was one that started with like a Q or something. I might be wrong.
I used to watch those religiously.
I was more of Animaniac guy.
Yeah, well, by then they had Tiny Toons, and that led to Animaniacs, and then Pinky and the Brain.
That wasn't Disney though. That was
Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it here. The first season was 90 to 91. At 3 p.m. was the Gummy Bears. 3:30 was DuckTales. 4 o'clock was Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers, and 4:30 was Tailspin. Then the next year, 3 o'clock was DuckTales, then Rescue Rangers, then Tailspin, then Darkwing Duck. Goof Troop didn't appear until the 92-93. But that must have been about the time that I stopped watching, because the following year they had this show called Bonkers.
Bonkers, that's what I was thinking of. And then wasn't there also Gargoyles?
Gargoyles.
Oh, I remember Bonkers. He was
94
the cop.
to 95. 94-95, they had a block. The 4 o'clock block had Bonkers, Gargoyles, and Schnookums and Meat.
I don't remember that one.
And then actually Aladdin at 4:30. So
Yeah, and that's when they added. Didn't they also have a Lion King one as well?
And the Hercules.
95 to 96 was Goof Troop, Bonkers, Aladdin, and the 4:30 block was Gargoyles and the Lion King's Timon and Pumbaa.
I remember liking the Aladdin TV show a lot.
Oh, and you were talking about one that had a queue. The 96 to 97, the 4:30 time slot, had the Lion King's Timon and Pumbaa, the Mighty Ducks, and Quack Pack.
That might be what I was thinking of.
See, I think I actually watched those on maybe Saturday mornings, was more than anything else. But yeah, I remember watching like the Gummy Bears, DuckTales, Rescue Rangers, then later on Darkwing Duck, and I think that was about the time that I stopped watching cartoons, or like approaching that time, because I was about 12 or 13 by that time.
Well, the problem was that they were on the same time as Animaniacs and Freakazoid and Earthworm Jim.
Yeah, so
oh man,
that's why
Freakazoid.
That's why I didn't watch Freakazoid then, because that's what I was watching then.
That's how quiet Bobby Goggles and Trolls is being. This is the age difference kicking in.
Yeah.
No, I did watch Freakazoid. I loved that show.
What about Earthworm Jim?
Never heard of it.
I knew of it, but I never watched it, and I played like an odd Earthworm Jim video game, but that was
He was
about
voiced by Homer.
The video game.
Dan Castellaneta?
The video game came first.
Really?
It's a really, really good game.
It is. I have it somewhere on my computer, and like
It's
as
also
a flash
balls
game.
hard.
Yeah,
Yes, yes, it is.
Any original Nintendo hard?
Wasn't it SNES?
It was SNES or
Yep.
Genesis, but it was hard. It was really hard.
But it looked amazing too. I mean, for the time and everything, it looked really good.
It was pretty impressive.
And the show was funny. It was a worm with a super suit.
Mm-hmm.
But Freakazoid
it was
way better.
actually a worm, and it was a little worm that got a super suit that made it humanoid. It was hilarious.
But Freakazoid was a better show.
Yes.
But
Speaking of video games,
put-
did you guys play any of the video game versions of all those Disney shows?
Oh, the Capcom game.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Some
the
of
Aladdin
those
one supposed to
were-
be good?
The Aladdin one is good. Well, that's based on the movie though.
I
And,
played the Lion King game.
DuckTales was really good. I remember playing that a lot when that came out, and I think Darkwing Duck as well.
I played the Bucky O'Hare arcade game. That was really good.
I played
remember-
the Simpsons arcade game.
I remember
That's a great game.
Bucky O'Hare
two I
is
remember-
just like The Simpsons. It's a Konami side-scrolling beat-em-up 4-player.
The two I remember were
Mhm.
the Simpsons arcade game and the X-Men arcade game.
Wasn't the
Although I
X-Men
don't-
arcade game based on the first cartoon that only got a pilot and then never got picked up? So it had
Because it had a
characters.
Dazzler. Was
Yeah.
it Dazzler?
I think it was Dazzler.
well, and Colossus is in that one. I don't think he was in
With a
Yep.
power that doesn't exist in his lexicon.
Sorry, I'm done.
Is that Colossus acting like he's a car?
That's when he activates his special power. That's what he sounds like.
And it creates a huge spark wave that he can't actually do, but okay.
Video games.
Shall we get back to the cartoons? Do you want to start talking about Batman?
Batman was like the best looking cartoon I think I'd ever seen.
I remember it being really dark and awesome.
It still looks okay today, even.
Yeah, it
It's
does.
a little jarring because we don't animate like that anymore, but it still looks good.
It's really interesting when you hear about all the restrictions that were given to them. Like, if you notice, there's never an actual frame of Batman punching a guy. Just before the fist actually hits them, they always cut to white, or there's a short white flash, and you show the bad guy reacting to getting punched. But there's never actually a frame of him getting punched.
Yeah, or there's like they do a perspective where like it's behind the bad guy, and that way you just see him fall back and like his fist has gone by, but you don't see contact or anything like that.
There's a good quote from somewhere about something about art where some of the best art and best writing is always done under heavy restrictions because you have to think more creatively.
Yeah, I was actually listening to Neil Gaiman talk about that the other day, or I think just yesterday, listening to an old episode of
Nerdist.
Nerdist.
I knew it. I listened to that. Yeah, it definitely like forces you to like go, oh fuck, I got to work with this and make it good. Bring it. This is the filler for the awkward pause. We're filling in for the awkward pause.
Troll, stop.
Okay.
Did we have did you guys ever watch like the follow-ups to the Batman animated series?
I did watch Batman Beyond, which I did kind of like.
I liked Batman Beyond a decent amount, but as far as like the immediate ones, where it's like the Adventures of Batman, Robin, and then Batman, where they turned it into like shorts.
I saw the one where he was on Superman.
I never watched Batman the animated series.
That's because you're wrong.
Let's see, there was Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, which were both pretty damn good.
Those were the shit.
There was a live-action Justice League show. It was awful. Had Guy Gardner in it.
Guy Gardner, my favorite Green Lantern.
Did anyone here ever watch Static Shock when it was on TV?
I remember that show. It's the kid on the what was it? He wrote a manhole cover.
Yep.
And sometimes a trash can lid.
And he was voiced by Phil Lamar.
Isn't that a DC character?
It is now. Yeah, like it wasn't initially when it like got started up, but then it became a DC character basically.
I think he was in Teen Titans for a while.
Yeah,
like in the comics. Yeah.
He got popular enough they made him a real character, they incorporated him into Teen Titans, and they started having Batman and Justice League appear on the show. Like, there was even an episode where Static Shock teams up with the Justice League to fight Brainiac.
That seems kind of silly. It's the Justice League. They have the Flash and Superman. Why would they need a
But do they
kid
have
riding
electrical
a trash
powers?
can lid? At a point, Superman did.
It was something
it the
like
point
Brainiac.
when they were on the episode?
I don't know. Maybe.
It was like Brainiac 12 or something, so they could justify as being like, well, it's a more powerful Brainiac now.
Doesn't matter if Flash is more powerful than anything. It's not justified.
But as Lex Luthor showed us, Flash doesn't know how to use it.
Oh, he can use it. In the comics, anyway. I don't know about the show.
In the comics.
In
like
the
in
cartoon.
I guess they went over that in Geekbox proper, so I'm not gonna bother.
Right. Lex Luthor beat the crap out of everyone in like a second when he was in the Flash's body.
Are we done talking about cartoons unless anyone else has any cartoons we've missed? I mean, there's a ton.
Yeah, I mean, like, I used to watch
Spider-Man
stuff growing up, like, Count Duckula, and did you ever watch that, or...
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I have not heard of Count Duckula.
Count Duckula?
What is this?
Yes.
Are you sure you're not thinking of Count Chocula?
I am positive. These were, like, old... I mean, we're talking, like, original, like, Nickelodeon-style stuff.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm sure someone will... Yeah,
I remember him.
There was another one that I watched, but I mean, these were like on at. I remember them being on pretty early in the morning on Nickelodeon, but they were British shows. But,
you mean like Danger Mouse?
Danger Mouse. Thank you. That was the other one I was thinking of. Danger Mouse was really good. I love those shows.
I mean, there's a ton of cartoons you could talk about. We could talk about Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Yeah, those were great. Yeah.
The list just goes on as far as like cartoons we could get into.
Wasn't the old Spider-Man cartoon Hanna-Barbera?
No, but the old Fantastic Four was.
Well, there's a really old Spider-Man one, though. I'm not talking about the one from the 90s.
It wasn't Hanna-Barbera, but yeah, there was an old-ass Spider-Man.
Okay.
Who made Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends? because that was great. That was horrible, but it was great. Does no one remember Spider-Man and his amazing
Oh,
friends?
I know, but I just never watched it.
It was Spider-Man, Iceman, and I believe Firestar, and they worked together on a team to solve crime.
That sounds amazing.
The best part was it was also with really, really old cheesy it was with really old cheesy cartoons or in that kind of style. So there was an episode where I think some guy got hit by radiation and he became a supervillain with the power to possess arcade machines.
Arcade machines?
Yes.
That's a weird power.
I think he then used it to trap Iceman, Firestar, and Spider-Man inside an arcade machine, fight them, and then I think there was a moral at the end of the episode about why video games are violent. I believe.
Wow.
I remember the MTV version of Spider-Man, the one that was computer graphics.
That one
that
had
was the
Neil
thing.
Patrick Harris.
Is that the one?
I think so. That was Neil Patrick Harris doing the voice, right?
Yeah, I think so. That sounds about right.
You know, they also had a Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
I know.
That thing was
Oh, yes.
terrible.
Yeah, it was garbage.
That's had a Dragon's
was
Lair
awesome.
cartoon. Dragon's Lair? Anyone?
I know Dragon's Lair.
I know it, never watched it though.
Dragon's Lair was a game.
Super
Yeah,
Mario
it was
Brothers
a game that
cartoon?
ate your stupid quarters.
Hyperman.
Didn't it eat your dollars?
Yep.
Yeah, Dragon's Lair costs more.
Any other cartoons we want to mention, or should we move on?
Let's move on, man.
Totoro, Bobby Goggles, X, Last Call.
I think you can move on. Animaniacs was great. It had the country song. It wasn't a country song. It was a song that was the name of other countries.
Everybody knows that song. It's great.
It is really good. Okay, move on.
What else were we going to talk about?
Movie box pick?
You just want to keep it loosey-goosey for a few minutes here? And I mean, anything been going on?
Goosey.
I've been working.
I don't know. I'm just trying to...
Yeah, I've kind of just been working forever. Otherwise, I'd be on more frequently and be able to listen more frequently. It's actually killing me that I can't listen to my podcasts anymore. White people's problems.
I saw Men in Black 3. I could talk about that, I suppose.
I've seen a
Well,
little bit of it so far.
Was it good?
It is not completely awful.
Yeah, exactly. It's okay.
It's way, 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 way better than Men in Black 2.
I was going to say, on a scale of Men in Black 2 to Men in Black 1, where is it?
I would say 3/4 of the way to Men in Black 1.
Okay.
You know, Kevin, EP3, he said he saw it today, and he said he would recommend you go with a large group of friends.
Yeah.
He said he would give it like a C+ to B-.
My thing with it was, like, I'm just a huge Flight of the Conchords fan, and I just am a huge... So I'm just loving that Jermaine Clement as the villain, but outside
He's the
of
villain?
that...
Oh.
Yeah,
That's who
he's
it, I
Boris.
was. I couldn't place him. Yes, that is him.
Yep, it's
that
Boris.
actually makes me... Yeah, that makes me kind of want to go see it.
Bill Hader is in it too.
Oh, well, that makes all the difference to me.
But I like
I'll
Flight of the Conchords.
I'll probably wait until this comes out on DVD or Blu-ray or something.
Yeah, it's not as good as the
Netflix
first
it.
one, but it's decent.
I've
Could be
also
worse.
seen most of What to Expect When You're Expecting,
Why?
Now,
because I work at a movie
why
theater.
did you? That's right. I was going to say, now, how have you seen like parts of these movies? Are you being a bad boy?
Well, no, it's because I work at an Alamo Drafthouse style movie theater where I get to...
Oh, very cool.
So I run in and
Awesome.
see a bunch of like bits and pieces of each movie.
But if the movie you know is bad, you don't have to look at the screen.
Well, what am I going to do? When
Shield your
it's
eyes. Don't look at the
Fine,
light.
I'll try that next time.
Don't look at the light.
But here's the thing.
Close your eyes,
whenever
Marion.
Tom Lennon and Rob Hubel are on together in it, it's okay. It's watchable. But basically, whenever it's like the dads who are already dads, that those sequences are okay. But the rest of it, I wanted it to be good because I knew like it had Chris Rock, Tom Lennon, Rob Hubel, and so on and so forth in it. But it wasn't.
What about Chernobyl Diaries? Have you seen bits and pieces of that?
I haven't seen it yet, and like on the part of the theater that I work at, they haven't been showing it. Otherwise, I haven't heard good things though.
I think Mrs. Totoro and I we're definitely going to go see something tomorrow, I think, but what we're going to see is up in the air. It's
The
probably
Dictator.
either going to be It's probably either going to be Dark Shadows or Chernobyl Diaries.
I've actually heard
And
The Dictator is pretty decent. I want to see more of it. Actually, I haven't got to see it all yet.
I think I'm in line to go see the Avengers again sometime over this long holiday weekend.
I kind of want to see Cabin in the Woods again.
We still sell out the Avengers at the theater. It's kind of amazing.
When was the last time you were working, and was it still like pretty full then?
Last night.
And pretty full?
Yeah, in fact, when I left, we had 2 theaters booked completely already when I left. So, yeah, it's still going strong.
Yesterday, the Avengers made $9,684,000.
That's like a lot of money.
Yesterday.
Indeed.
I should have... guys, I think we need to come to the realization that whatever we have decided as far as, our careers, that we should have been movie producers, and we should have at least been in on the Avengers.
Did you know that Stan Lee doesn't get any of the money?
It's not surprising, but that's probably why he tries to make cameos in it.
I bet Jack Kirby also doesn't get any of the money.
No.
Well, no, because he's dead.
But his corpse is just littered with money. He has the gold doubloons all over his corpse. Yeah, that's how he wanted to be paid. Doubloons.
Sorry if I went in a really morbid place there. I'm sorry.
It was awesome.
What about Battleship? Anyone see Battleship?
No, I'm not going to see Battleship.
Here's the thing about Battleship. It is absolutely stupid, but I think it is the first movie that I've seen that's so stupid, it's good.
That is what I've been trying to tell people. That's why I wanted to see it. But they all laughed at me.
I
know, it's crazy. Try it.
I don't get the whole, liking something ironically thing, or... if something is... there are only a few things out there that are so bad, it's, like, hilarious. And it's like, I don't think that it's actually quote-unquote good. It's just, I'm not laughing with the movie, I'm laughing at the movie. So that's...
But yeah, that's the thing, you will laugh at it.
What's wrong with that? It is providing entertainment.
I'm not going to spend, money to go out to see it in a theater to laugh at someone's horrible life decisions.
A lot of times a movie that is like at 3% of Rotten Tomatoes is more entertaining than a movie that's at 100% of Rotten Tomatoes.
Here's the thing too. It's not like the Transformers movies where they're very cynical films. They do all that stuff like they do all the stupid shit in it because they know that's what mouth breathers want and like. And as far as with Battleship, you can kind of tell we want to make a stupid movie because we're making a fucking movie about Battleship. It's gonna be stupid one way or another. So it's kind of like they just take it to its most extreme with a straight face. It's kind of awesome. And like I said, it's not cynical like Transformers. It is like I said, it's stupid, but good stupid.
So it knows it's stupid.
I'd say so.
I still don't want to go see it.
I've not been excited about a Transformers movie since 1987.
What about Transmorphers? Transmorphers?
Man, that original is going back. This kind of transcends the two topics, but going back to the cartoon topic. I mean, I remember that being like a major life event. Was going to see the original Transformers cartoon in the theaters. God bless my parents. They indulged me on. I did not cry, but I was definitely out of sorts for a day afterward.
Speaking of your parents taking you to see that, what was the first movie you guys remember seeing in the theater that your parents took you to as a kid?
Oh man.
Oh God.
I know that my parents have told me that they took me to see E.T. in the theater, but
Batman
I remember
Returns.
them.
Batman Returns.
Returns? Oh, that's right, you're a baby.
I was 4 when they... No, I was about 3.5, 4 when they took me. But, already I had kind of become a huge Batman fan at that point. And I wasn't too fazed by scary, dark shit at that point. So they had no problem taking me to the theater with them. Albeit they got a ton of weird looks, apparently.
I think it might have been Star Wars Episode 1.
Jesus.
Oh, man.
It's okay. He was 4 or 5. He can be forgiven.
It's not okay. I just threw up in my mouth.
Yeah, I was 6.
Those movies were made for kids, and he was a kid.
Jesus.
I skipped a day of... I skipped I had like a whole bunch of like days built up, like my senior year, and I skipped a bunch of days to go see that when I was, because I basically didn't want to go to school, and it was like, what? No, well, I didn't want to go to school. What in the hell am I going to do now? And I was a senior in high school at the time, so I was like, okay, I'm just going to go see episode 1 again. So I was part of the problem. I saw that movie 10 times in the theater.
Seriously?
Yeah, I knew a bunch of people who saw that movie like 8 or 7 times.
I may have seen it twice.
What's wrong with you people?
I don't know. I was just.
It was because it was Star Wars and it was the theater.
Yeah,
it's
It
just
didn't
one of
matter
those,
if the movie was good or bad. It was Star Wars.
Now, did you guys go see, like, when they re-released the original trilogy in the theater?
Yes.
Did you go see those?
Yes, I did. And I remember
That
taking
was, like-
my brother with me, and he did not want to see it. Because he had never seen Star Wars, he didn't know what it was, but I had to force him to see the first one. Then after that, it was pretty easy to get him to go and see the others.
Yeah, I remember that being, like, a big thing among me and my friends. It was like, you know, you're going to go see Empire this weekend? You're going to go see Return this weekend? And, I mean, I was in the marching band, but we were notorious for like working harder than the football team. So it was like we weren't a bunch of like straight up nerds, and people didn't like pick on us and shit. So, but it was I remember, going and seeing like those movies like a lot when they came out.
They were the special editions, though.
The special editions. Yeah, there was like it was early '97.
On shot first.
I think Han shot first, yes. I think it was a lot of like I think they released them like 1 month apart. It was like, January, February, March, or like February, March, April or something like that. But yeah, that was like a big thing. But as far as like the first movie that I remember like my parents taking me to, it was either Transformers the movie or the Alvin and the Chipmunks movie. Like the Great Adventure, like the No.
So this was like 2 years ago?
Yes, my parents took me to see the Squeakquel, and I was so happy. But no, like they had like a Great Adventure one, or like it was something about a balloon race or some shit. I don't remember, but I remember that being one of the first movies I ever remember seeing.
My dad took me to some horror movie that I should not have been in when I was like 4 years old. I remember not paying attention to the movie, and I was just playing with the seat the whole time, and everyone got annoyed with me because I was like 3 or 4 years old.
Oh,
and
I remember.
They didn't take me to see another movie for years after that.
I remember my parents took me and my brother like opening weekend to see Total Recall in the theater.
Awesome.
And walking out and being like, I don't know, 9 or 10.
So you were just like,
my
three
brother,
boobs.
3 moves, oh my god. But there was like a bunch of people, like there was a big line outside the auditorium. It was like, I remember someone saying, was it good? And I looked at them and said, yeah. I was 10 years old, I didn't know better.
I think the movie that I saw was called Crawl Space.
Was that the Klaus Kinski movie?
Yes, it was.
Okay. I'm picturing the VHS box right now, so it's like his face, he's like looking up towards his forehead or something, and there's something there, like, I don't know.
Right.
But that's what you get when you work in a video store for a really long time. You remember VHS boxes.
All right.
So should we move on to Moviebox?
Yeah, let's move on.
All right.
Troll, you want to introduce your pick?
Sure, yeah. I'll get the movie box going here. For this week, apparently it was my pick. I thought I had taken myself off the list entirely or put myself to the end, but I was surprised, and I'm glad I got to come in. But my pick for this week was Renaissance, a 2006 black and white rotoscope animation film starring Daniel Craig primarily and a bunch of no-names.
So it was rotoscope then?
Yep.
It was not rotoscope.
It wasn't like properly rotoscope, but the animation style is rotoscope. Like they didn't like rotoscope actors, but like it was like they did the animation, then rotoscoped the animation.
It was all CG, my friend.
It was mocapped.
But yeah, it's black and white,
Green screen
heavily
mocap.
stylized. It looks very pretty, and that's kind of the main reason I picked it. It's just like a very pretty movie.
Yeah, I like the art style for it a lot. I don't know about the rest of the movie, though.
Yeah, it's kind of the plot's dull in general and really do new stuff, but like I said, it's pretty.
Yeah, the plot was just all over the place and didn't really make much sense.
Yeah, finding a cure for progeria, while noble in scope, does not exactly make for a.
And oh no, we have
exciting.
to kill her. Spoiler for the end of the movie. We have to kill her. She found eternal life.
Well, not so much she found life. She found eternal life and was going to sell it to the corporate overlords.
Who then would have sold it to everyone for a reasonable price? Everyone would have lived forever.
Well, it's more like the implications are that means that this company more or less has control over whether or not you live or die. And he's like, nope, just going to kill her instead.
I don't know. Bobby Gallerol's Dakazu, what'd you think of it?
I thought it was interesting.
It was all right.
I thought it was kind of boring, to be honest.
I definitely like the fact that in this day and age, making a movie like this is becoming more and more cost effective, and I like that a movie like this can be made. I feel like I would really like to see something.
They spent 6 years making this movie.
Did they really?
Yeah, if you look at the I think if you at least look at the Wikipedia page, it cost like a shit ton of money and didn't make a lot of money at all.
And like it's more or less a dub too. It's like initially a French film, which maybe I probably need to hunt that down and see if I can hear it.
Well, I kind of feel like I would really like to see this movie done with a better script, or that style of movie being done with a better script, a better story, at least something more interesting and engaging. But I like the fact that can be made.
The problem with these types of movies, this kind of reeks of like Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within. You guys see that?
Where it's kind of carried by the art style, basically.
I would say Spirits Within was a better movie.
If you look at Spirits Within, like it's still really, really good looking. It's a good looking film. Like it was beyond. But because they were so focused on like making the film look good, they couldn't redo a lot of the script and hash out a lot of that kind of stuff, as well as the acting as well. So I feel like this might have suffered from the same problems. Like it looks great. I really love that one scene with like the lights kind of like, I forgot what it was, but it like there's a swinging lamp at the top, and because it's black and white, you see the light just kind of like go back and forth across the charters and light up different parts.
It is incredibly pretty. Yeah, there's a lot of Vista shots that are fabulous in this movie.
Yeah, I mean it looks great. I think we all agree with that. It's just that a lot of the things like the plot, some of the acting, some of the animation I feel is off, even though it's mocapped.
Yeah, it feels wooden. I felt like it felt wooden.
I think it's the problem that like when you have stylized cartoons and stuff like that, like Toy Story, they don't motion capture that. They just animate it to make it like look good. Like even though that's not like mocapped and it's not completely natural, it looks much more fluid.
Well, have you guys seen Tintin?
Yeah, Tintin is a beautiful movie.
That was mocapped, and I thought that was great.
Okay, so I haven't seen that.
Have you seen Rise of the Planet of the Apes?
I've also not seen that.
Man, Andy Serkis deserved something for that.
Lord of the Rings. Have you seen Lord of the Rings? Gollum.
Yeah, like I said, he is an incredibly good like actor in general.
I would say that the mocap technology, though, from the time that this movie was made, has come a long way to now. So that is why there's the difference. Because mocapping does look much better now, the animations and everything.
It took 6 years and came out in 2006, right? So at least started, at the latest, it started in 2000. So yeah, that's kind of way back then.
Well, and it probably depends on who is doing. I think that it definitely depends on who does the computer animation, who does the mocap. At this point, I don't know that anyone does mocap better than like Weta.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, everything I mentioned that was mocap was done by Weta.
Is there anything else about this film someone wants to say?
I kind of dug the style. As far as like, there was a lot of glass and the angles and stuff. That was really neat, but. Yeah, nothing really much to add.
I prefer Daniel Craig's Bond voice to the voice he was doing in the movie.
Yeah, it's kind of like I could barely tell it was Daniel Craig, and I was just like, I want to hear James Bond during this whole movie. What's interesting with this is like I was very close to picking this instead of A Boy and His Dog for the first season of Moviebox, and just like when I picked up this movie in general, much like with Boy and His Dog, I just randomly saw it on TV about halfway through, just like, well, what's this? It has my full attention now. and I just went through and like bought it. I actually own it on DVD, which was really hard to find in a physical copy locally without going to Amazon or anything like that. But it was interesting for that reason on my end.
It's a good film, you know. It's just
like I said, it's pretty, which almost makes up for everything else that it has flaw-wise, but just not quite.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. Any final thoughts?
It was pretty.
It was interesting.
All right, next week's Moviebox pick is Kevin EP3's, and his pick is Bronson.
I have seen bits and pieces of this movie, and it is bizarre.
It is very weird. I've only seen, like, the trailer for it, and that is... It's going to be interesting. And isn't that Tom Hardy?
It is Tom Hardy.
Oh
my god.
Whoa, robot. That's why,
It's, post Star Trek Nemesis Hardy.
And it's good, and yeah, kind of Hardy in general, bulking up to be Bane-sized.
Well, this was before he bulked up for this, and then he lost it for other movies, and now he bulked
Inception.
up, for Inception, and then he bulked back up for Bane.
So definitely with this, we can definitely see, yes, he can get huge.
Yes. And
this is
crazy.
also directed by the same director who did Drive.
is this on
Ruffin.
Insta streaming?
I believe it is. I will double check though.
That is, I'm looking at the budget here. It was made for £150,000.
Wow.
That is not a lot of money. So
That is whoever made that weighs a lot.
Man, like...
You see, it's funny because pounds is also a unit of measurement of weight.
That's actually, as far as everything in a movie, that's probably pretty light if that's everything in what the movie weighed.
Yeah.
Unless it's just one dude.
Well, hell, I weigh
That's
185 pounds. That's nothing.
That's true. Well, that's light then, yes. But Tom Hardy must have weighed way more than that.
He must have weighed at least 155 pounds.
Yes. It is on instant streaming. Stalling complete.
All right. Oh, before we end, I wanted to thank Ryan Higgins, because on the Comic Conspiracy podcast, he has been pimping alltalk for us. It's very nice of you, Ryan Higgins. Thank you very much.
And hello.
And I know he listens to this, so.
And hello, new listeners who come over from Comics Conspiracy. Go back to episode 2 and 3 if you want to hear me, please.
You probably don't want to hear him, though, right?
No.
Come on, let's be honest.
And
yeah,
we need to thank Higgins for coming in and talking to us in Mumble the other day as well.
Oh yeah.
Diablo. He was Diablo.
Oh my god, Diablo.
Oh yeah, I believe Dakazu has a public service announcement to make regarding Diablo.
God damn it.
He thought he was going to make it through this, but...
Yeah, thanks for bringing it up. Yeah, I got hacked.
You got hacked?
Get an authenticator. Yeah, I got hacked, and all my items got sold off on my main character. My gold was gone. Everything in my inventory was gone.
Oh, shit.
It's annoying.
Would you recommend people do what you did and get Blizzard to roll back your character to get you your stuff back?
Okay, so what I did was after I was in the middle of playing, and then I got an error message that says this account has been accessed from a different computer.
Wow.
So I got hacked mid-game while I was playing. It was annoying. By the time I got back, everything was gone. I sent a ticket over to Blizzard explaining my situation. I said, hey, we understand. Listen, you can have up to 2 rollbacks. So you need to acknowledge that you want to use one of your rollbacks. And I said, okay, yeah, let's go for the rollback. And they rolled me back to the beginning of the act that I was on. The thing was, I was almost at the end of that act. So I ended up going back like 4 levels.
Weren't you like level 42, 43 at the time? And now
I was really close to you, yeah, X.
So and now you're back to 30s, and you went back to 37?
38.
You're at 38?
Yeah, so
would you recommend having them roll back the character, or would you recommend just continuing with nothing and just getting people to give you stuff?
It's hard to say, It seems like when they roll back to the beginning of an act. So I guess, use that as your point of reference. Are you really far from your act? Then maybe you should, if you have friends, they can just kind of give you stuff so you can kind of get back to where you were. Or if you're really close to the beginning of an act, then maybe you should mount a rollback. I don't know. But apparently you only get 2 rollbacks.
That's dumb.
Yeah, I agree.
If there's a hacking problem, you should get infinite Robux.
I don't know. Maybe it's
Robux
this problem. There's just too many requests for rollbacks. I don't know. It's hard to say.
But yeah, there's a authenticator keychain you can get that you can pay for if you want to spend money, or you can just get an app for like your iPhone or Android. I think it's also on Windows Phone.
And also, there's a thing that they'll just do where they'll text you if you have a non-smartphone.
Yeah, SMS.
And there is a phone where you can dial a number and do something.
Talk to someone.
Talk to a robot on a telephone.
Whatever. I think I got hacked because I was trying to look for like help with monk builds, and I probably went to some dumb site and like I probably got keylogged. It's annoying.
Well, I hear you get it when you join a random open game. That somehow that gets a keylogger on you.
Well, I didn't do that, so it's probably the first thing that happened.
But you had some new people on your friend list then that you were able to report.
I was. We'll see what comes of that. Who knows?
So that's good.
Yeah, anyway, that's taken care of. Get an authenticator. Apparently that helps a lot. And I think that's about it. Shall we wrap up?
Definitely.
Okay. I want to thank RobotGoggle, and I want to thank IRL Troll and special guest Tumble for joining us this week. If you enjoy this podcast, don't forget to donate to the official Geekbox Mumble server. It's where we record the podcast and where we hang out and play games like Diablo 3 or other things and just talk.
Like Team Fortress 2, maybe?
Maybe. We also, if you'd like to participate in this podcast, you can jump into Mumble and come talk to us and ask us. Or you can PM us on forums at forums.geekbox.net and PM either Mr. X, Totoro, or me, Dakazu. Yes, we also have an email, alltalkpodcast@alltalkpodcast.com, and we have a Twitter account @alltalkpodcast. So, let's end by reminding you to listen to the other podcasts, including The Geekbox, The Comic Conspiracy, The Comedy Button, and Good Job Brain as well. I think that sums it all up. I love you.
I know.